Today we will discuss about mercury vapor lamps. Already we have discussed in our previous class, but today we will compare this lamp with the sodium vapor lamps. This class is important for diploma students and in electrical specialization. So today we will compare about mercury vapor lamps and the sodium vapor lamps. So before comparing them, let us discuss the mercury vapor lamps uh, in a in a in a brief method. So let us discuss it. So the operation of mercury vapor lamp and fluorescent lamp is based on the excitation of atoms. So its basic principle is the excitation of the atoms and some gaseous mediums. So it is worth mentioning that the frequency and the wavelength of the radiation given out by different atoms depend upon the level of their excitation. So already in your previous semesters you have learned that the atoms or the energy levels of the atoms determines the level of their excitation. So exactly here also their level of excitation is depend upon and its wavelength of the radiation is given out by different atoms depends upon the level of their excitation. In case of mercury vapors alone, the excitation to different level is possible. Some of the important wavelengths radiated by the mercury vapor includes 2537 Armstrong unit, 1561 AU, 4358 AU, and 4047 AU. Out of these wavelengths, the first lies in UV region, that is your ultraviolet regions. So the last of the three being from the visible spectrum, giving green, blue and violet color sensation respectively. The first radiation is predominant in low pressure mercury vapor working and it when working as in fluorescent lamps. The last three are emitted in case of uh, high pressure, which is about 1.5 atmospheric pressure to 5.10 atmospheric pressure. So this is all about your mercury vapor lamps. Now its construction part, let us understand it also. The tube contains mercury vapor and is made of hard glass. The outer glass covers protects the inner tube from coming into direct contact with atmospheric temperature. So to so as to protect it from the outside environment, there is the outer glass cover. So it protects the inner tube from the outside environment. Also, it also absorbs the ultraviolet radiation emitted from the lamp during working. So during working also, it also absorbs the UV radiations which are emitted from the lamp during working. So these UV rays are harmful to us. So it also serves as a medium which will protect or it will absorb this UV radiation which has been emitted by the inner side, or you can say uh, the emitting part of the bulb or the lamp. Besides mercury, the inner tube consists of a permanent uh, percentage of argon gas, and there are two main electrodes made of tungsten wires. So these wires are made up of tungsten wires and a starting electrode which is spaced quite close to one of the main electrode. So these two electrodes are spaced quite close to each other so as to bring a spark, right? So during connection to the supply, the mains, the auxiliary electrodes through a high series resistance along with the main electrode 2 is connected to, say, neutral of the supply. The phase comes to the main electrodes through the insulated part of the metallic cap. Now we will discuss it with the help of the diagram. So students, this is the diagram of HP MV lamp, that is high pressure mercury vapor lamps. So from the diagram it is very clear that the main components are the main electrode, and inside the glass tube it is vacuum. The outer glass bulb is also marked, right? So this is the outer part. So the other things are starting resistance is there. This is the starting resistance. Inner glass tube is this one, the whole thing. The choke, there is a capacitor, there is a metallic cap, and a auxiliary electrode is also there. What is an auxiliary electrode? During starting only this auxiliary electrode helps. After that its importance is few, or you can say it is nullified. Its importance is not required anymore, right? So now let us discuss its working. When the circuit is energized, the supply voltage appears between the main electrode and the starting or auxiliary electrode. The argon coming between these two electrode is immediately ionized. So see, after the instant when we switch on the supply or it has been excited, what happens? The argon coming between these two electrode is immediately ionized, because distance between these two electrode is very small. Already we have noted that the distance between the two electrode are made close to each other intentionally, right? So that is the reason why what happens, the gas becomes ionized inside, that is the argon, and a glow appears between the said electrodes. So there is a glow formation, which in other words you can say there is a spark also. So this glow appears between the two electrodes. A small current starts flowing through the starting resistor in series with the auxiliary electrode. The result in building up of pressure due to heating up of mercury, which is originally in the condensed form. So originally it was in condensed form, but after few moments when the energy or the supply is given, what happens? It is ionized. Now ultimately the medium between the main electrode is ionized and the current starts flowing between the two. It is no longer controlled by high resistance in the starting circuit, but the choke in the main circuit. Afterwards what happens? It is now controlled by the choke in the main circuit. The resistance of the ionized medium is much smaller and the current chooses the low resistance path. It is quite obvious that the current will always follow the low resistance path, so it does the similar thing here also. Now the function of the capacitor is to improve the power factor of the circuit. So students, always these capacitors are used for power factor improvement, for improving the power factors. So here also for improving the power factor, this capacitor is employed. If we will not use this capacitor, what will happen? The power factor will be very low due to high inductance of the choke present in the circuit. The lamp discharges above is called MA type and is rated at 250 to 400 watts for AC mains, that is voltage up to 230 volts. Now there are some caution also, or some things which we should not do with this kind of lamps, that are the lamps should be always mounted vertically, otherwise inner tube can be damaged by striking arc. So in mercury arc lamp it should be always used vertically, right? So if you will not use in vertical position, what will happen? The lamp will be permanently damaged, and can be damaged by striking arc, thus rendering the service device unserviceable. That means it will be permanently dysfunction. The time taken during the lamp is 5 to 6 minutes. So students, here the time required to make this kind of lamp to appear in its full brightness is 5 to 6 minutes. The source will not start again if the supply is once interrupted till the pressure inside the tube or the inner tube subsides. The temperature inside the bulb is approximately is equal to 650 degrees centigrade. So this is quite a huge amount of temperature which has been developed inside the bulb. Right. Now, and the efficiency of the lamp is at 40 lumens per watt. So its efficiency is 40 lumens per watt. The temperature inside the bulb is approximately 650 degrees centigrade, and it takes 5 to 6 minutes to glow fully, or to bring its full illuminated form. It takes 5 to 6 minutes. If the choke is missing from the circuit through the ionized medium will go on increasing beyond the control, thus permanently damaging the bulb. Already we have discussed that this choke is introduced so as to bring the current to a limited value. Now suppose you go on switching this device or switching this mercury vapor lamp without the help of this choke, then what will happen? The current will not be controlled or limited, or in other words, the current drawn by this lamp will be very high. As a result, it will permanently impair the lamp and it will be unserviceable. That means it will not work after that. So you should use it with the proper choke. The color emitted from this lamp is bluish pale, which gives an natural appearance to the living objects. This makes it unsuitable for indoor lighting, for industries and for other premises despite of its higher efficiency. So being its efficiency is higher also due to the color emitted by these lamps, this is not suitable for using it in our indoor purpose or your domestic purpose, you can also say. For industries also it is not very feasible, or you can say you cannot use it inside the industries and other premises uh, because the color which it emits is very unnatural. So lastly, the lamp is suitable for AC mains only. So this kind of lamp is suitable for the AC mains only. Now the sodium vapor lamp we will discuss and compare with the mercury arc lamp. So we will discuss now the sodium vapor lamp. So as already we have discussed about this lamp, again we will just discuss the highlighting points of this lamp, and the circuit diagram we will discuss so that we can compare this sodium vapor lamp with the mercury vapor lamps. Sodium vapor lamp consists of a inner U-shaped glass tube made of high resistance glass. So this is a U-shaped glass which is made up of high resistance glass and containing a small amount of metallic sodium. Uh, Neon gas and two electrodes, one anode and other cathode. So the components inside this glass tube are your neon gas, two electrodes. The two are, one is your anode, the other one is your cathode, and a small amount of metallic sodium is used. So this is the diagram for the sodium vapor lamp. Let me just zoom it out so that it will be in a single screen. So now students, just have a look to the circuit diagram, or you can say the sodium vapor lamp. So clearly a AC supply voltage of 230 is injected. Now there is a capacitor for power factor improvement which has been connected across the supply voltage. There is a choke which is connected in series. So let me just show you also. So this is the capacitor, this is the choke. There is cathode heating transformer, so which is this one, and it has been connected to the cathode part. Also, the tube is vacuum. Inside the tube, or you can say inside the glass tube, it is vacuum inside. There is a discharge tube also, and there are anode and a cathode. So this cathode already I have shown you. This is the anode one. Now the inner tube is enclosed with an outer glass tube of U shape, and space between is evacuated to minimize the heat losses. So the inner tube is enclosed with an outer glass tube of U shape, and the space between them is evacuated to minimize the heat losses from the inner tube. The presence of neon gas serves to vaporize the sodium by producing sufficient heat. The glass tube is used in U-shaped because long discharge paths are necessary. So in this kind of discharges, the long path is very much essential. So what we do, we make the path longer, we use a U-shaped glass tube. So that is the reason why these tubes are in the form of U. This lamp is used horizontally to keep the sodium when spread along the tube. So students, earlier in mercury vapor lamp it was used in vertical position. Here the sodium vapor lamp is used in a horizontal position. So you should remember this difference. This is the major difference between sodium vapor lamp and the mercury vapor lamp. Now again, this lamp, or when the supply is given to this lamp, the discharge takes place in the neon gas first, and red orange gas glow produces. So after the discharge take place, red and orange glow produces. The metallic sodium gradually vaporizes and then ionizes, thereby producing a light of yellow color. This lamp is also called as monochromatic lamp because it emits a light of yellow color of wavelength 5900 Armstrong. The lamp takes place, or the lamps takes about 5 to 6 minutes for starting and takes about 15 minutes for coming in full brilliancy. So this lamp is taking quite a considerable amount of time for its total brilliancy. Brilliancy here means for the total time taken to make a area illuminated. That means to make its full glow, this kind of lamp takes about 15 minutes. During starting it takes 5 to 6 minutes, and after that, for bringing this lamp into its full output state, it takes 15 minutes. So it is very you can say a long duration of time. 15 minutes is a very long time. So as compared to the mercury vapor lamp, it was taking 5 to 6 minutes, but here it is taking 15 minutes. The luminous efficiency of the lamp is 50 lumens per watt, and its average life is about 3000 working hours. So its average working hours is 3000 working hours. Operating temperature of this lamps is about 300 degrees centigrade. So here the operating temperature is about 300 degrees centigrade, but in case of mercury vapor lamp it was around 650 degree centigrade. And lamps are manufactured in the ratings of 40, 60, 85 and 140 watts. So these are the available wattage in the market, which you can purchase obviously according to your necessity. Suppose you need a less wattage of sodium vapor lamp, then you can go for 40 or 60. If higher wattage is required, 85, 140 or whatever is convenient to you, accordingly you can purchase and install it wherever it is necessary. The cathode heating transformer is used to send a high voltage of about 480 volt. So the cathode heating transformer is a vital thing. What it does is it sends a high voltage nearly about 480 volt at the time of starting the lamp. During the time of starting the lamp, so that luminous discharge inside the tube takes place. Under normal running conditions, the rated supply is given to the lamp. Function of the choke is to limit the starting current, which tends to increase due to negative temperature resistance characteristics. So students, due to negative temperature characteristics, what happens? This current tends to increase, but due to the presence of this choke, this current is limited. The condenser is used to improve the power factor, which becomes as low as 0.2 due to choke and the transformer. These lamps are suitable only for AC. There also in mercury vapor lamp, it was suitable for AC. These lamps are used for general outdoor lightings and highway, where color distortion is not a much importance. So these lamps are preferable to the areas where the color is not very essential, the color of the light, which I meant to say. And preferable area for this kind of lamps is highways. You might have seen the lights in the highway. Just in any moment, just try to read any text in the highway. You will feel a little bit of problem. You cannot just read it properly, any texture, right? So this is the problem with the sodium vapor lamp. You cannot read it. And in highway, what is important? It is the light which is important. So it is not necessary that we will have the light in full brilliancy and its output will be also very high. Those kind of light is not required. So according to the requirement, the sodium vapor lamp is suited in highways and also in outdoor lightings, where the requirement is not very you can say essentials. Suppose in a school building or in a hospital, the requirement of light and its quality is very essential, and it is mandatorily it has to be in a very good quality of light, so that we can read properly, or we can do any activities which we require in a good way without producing any glare in our eyes. So in highways only this kind of lamps are used. These lamps are not suitable for indoor lightings, right? So this was the difference between mercury vapor and your sodium vapor lamp. Now we will discuss about mercury vapor lamp without choke. So with the modern trends, the choke is not used, and the supplement of this choke is used instead. So what is that supplement of this choke? We will discuss in this mercury vapor lamp without choke. So another type of commercial purpose mercury vapor lamp is suitable for both AC as well as DC supply systems. So students, from a meanwhile from now, I have said that sodium vapor lamp as well as your mercury vapor lamp, both of these lamp require AC supply. They cannot be operated in DC. But in mercury vapor lamp without choke, it can be operated by using both AC as well as DC supply. The other major advantage of this type of lamp is the improvement of color over that given out by the ordinary mercury vapor lamp, which was discussed earlier. So here the color the color which was produced by this mercury vapor lamp is now improved in this kind of lamps. In this case, the current is controlled by a series tungsten filament which glows besides the light. So to limit the value of current, here we are using a tungsten filament which is connected in series, right? So uh, which glows besides the light emitted from the mercury tube. Consequently, the shortage of red color in the light so emitted is compensated and quality of the light is improved. So this is the diagram of the mercury vapor lamp without a choke. So here you can see there are two leads, which is mains AC or DC, whatever supply you are having you can supply. There is a thermal switch, main electrode, outer glass cover, electrode, and tungsten filament. So this tungsten filament is the filament which is connected in series, and it is only used to limit the current. This one. So student, this one is the tungsten lamp which is used to limit the value of current. So lumen per watt, and the power factor is 0.65. So in this lamp the lumen per watt and the power factor is 0.65. A still more recent development in mercury lamps is an ultra pressure lamp operating at about 40 atmosphere and has an efficiency comparable with the sodium vapor lamps. These lamps are used for outdoor and indoor lightings. So these lamps are used for both outdoor as well as your industrial lightings. So this was about your mercury lamps without a choke. Now we'll discuss about fluorescent lamps. This fluorescent lamp, the mercury vapor lamp operating at low pressure, emits radiation of 2500 Armstrong unit, while at high pressure they emit radiation at about 3650 AU. Since both the emission are in the UV region, are of no use as light of source. However, this radiation can be used to excite certain materials. When the excited molecules of these materials return to normal, they emit a radiation at a frequency different from what that which caused the excitation, and thus the radiation emitted by the material may be within the visible zone, so that the ultraviolet radiation are converted to light. Material which possesses this property are called as fluorescent. So the connecting diagram and the parameters we will discuss in our next class. The circuit diagram of this fluorescent tube or your fluorescent lamp is as in the screen. This circuit is your fluorescent lamp circuit, which we will discuss in our next class. We will also discuss about some of the halogen lamps and some special purpose of light. So this is a halogen bulb which is used in a car, that is in the headlight. There is also a halogen iodine filling which is used as a reflector also. So this part we will be discussing in our next class. Also the neon indicator lamps will be discussed in our coming next class. So thank you students.